Hi, my name's Alan Smith, and this is a video of a StarCraft II bot that uses GPT4 to make the decisions about the high-level strategy when playing the game. In this game, we've got the opponent difficulty set to hard. There is a glitch in the enumerations, which means that the levels do show up incorrectly in TensorBoard. If you're interested in the design and implementation of this bot, and how GPT4 can be used for strategic decision-making processes, please check out the series of webcasts that I've created on this. There's a link in the description below.
Strategy: defend your base. The best strategy would be to focus on building up your economy and defenses. Since you only have 50 minerals and no Vespine gas, you should prioritize building probes to gather more resources. You also have no pylons, which are necessary for building other structures and units, so building a pylon should be your next priority. After that, you should consider building a gateway to start producing combat units.
For ire.
Strategy: attack the enemy base. It is crucial to focus on building up your army and resources. You have a significant amount of minerals, but no Vespine gas, limiting your options for advanced units and structures. You also have a decent number of probes, but only one gateway, limiting your production capacity. Your supply cap is not yet a concern, but will become one as you expand your forces.
Honor guides me. Ula Sadari, by your will. Gassar de Templari, and Tara Tassadar. For our cannons, and Tara Tassadar, by your will. Gassar de Templari. Highlight for ire.
That must be placed on a Vespine geyser.
Strategy: defend your base. It is advisable to focus on building up your economy and army. You have a significant amount of minerals, but no Vespine gas, limiting your options for advanced units and structures. You also have a decent amount of supply left, so there's no immediate need for more pylons. However, your army is small, consisting only of probes and zealots, and you lack advanced structures like the cybernetics core, Stargate, and robotics facility. Strategy: attack the enemy base. It is advisable to focus on expanding your army and improving your offensive capabilities. You have a significant amount of minerals and Vespine gas, which can be used to build more units and structures. Since you only have zealots, it will be beneficial to diversify your army by building stalkers and sentries. Additionally, building a Stargate and robotics facility would allow you to build more advanced units. Lastly, since your supply cap is almost reached, building more pylons would be beneficial. Strategy: attack the enemy base. It is advisable to focus on building more offensive units and expanding your base. You have a significant amount of minerals, but a low amount of Vespine gas, which limits the types of units and structures you can build. You should focus on building more zealots, as they only require minerals, and consider building another nexus to expand your base and increase resource collection. Also, building a robotics facility would be beneficial for future unit diversity and strength. Strategy: defend your base. It would be beneficial to focus on expanding your economy and army. You have a significant amount of minerals, so investing in additional nexuses and probes would help increase your resource gathering rate. Building more gateways would also allow you to produce more units simultaneously. As for units, zealots and stalkers are good choices for early game defense and offense. Lastly, considering the lack of advanced tech structures, it would be wise to build a robotics facility for access to more advanced units.
My life for ire. Ula Sadari.
I am here in the shadows.
Strategy: defend your base. It would be beneficial to focus on building more offensive units to strengthen your army. You have a good number of probes for resource gathering, and your supply cap allows for more units. Building more stalkers and zealots would be a good choice as they are versatile units that can handle a variety of threats. Additionally, considering the amount of Vespene gas, building an immortal could be a good investment for dealing with heavier enemy units. Lastly, building another nexus would help in expanding your resource gathering and production capabilities. Strategy: defend your base. It would be wise to focus on building more offensive units to strengthen your army. You have a good number of probes and a decent amount of Vespene gas, but your minerals are low. Therefore, it would be beneficial to focus on units that require more Vespene gas and fewer minerals. You also have a good number of gateways and a stargate, so you can produce a variety of units. However, your supply is almost capped, so building more pylons should be a priority.
I am here in the shadows. Very well. I am here in the shadows. I serve, for I am here in the shadows. Intriguing. It shall be as you say.
It is destined.
For the reckoning.
I return to serve.
Very wise. Intriguing. I serve for now.
Strategy: defend your base. You have a strong economy with a large amount of minerals and a decent amount of Vespene gas. Your supply cap is almost reached, so you should consider building more pylons. You have a balanced mix of units, with a focus on stalkers and immortals. You should consider building more assimilators to increase your Vespene gas income, which will allow you to build more high-tier units. Also, consider building more gateways to increase your unit production capacity.
My life for ire. Kasar, Datum
I am here in the shadows. Veraku. Base is under attack. Mineral field depleted. Teleport successful.
Strategy: attack the enemy base. You have a significant amount of minerals but a low amount of Vespene gas. You also have a decent number of offensive units, but your supply cap is nearing its limit. Your best strategy would be to focus on building more zealots, which are mineral heavy and gas light, to bolster your offensive capabilities. Additionally, you should consider building more pylons to increase your supply cap, allowing you to build more units in the future. Lastly, building more assimilators would help increase your Vespene gas production, which would be beneficial for building more advanced units later on. Strategy: attack the enemy base. You have a significant amount of minerals and a decent army composition. However, your Vespene gas is low, limiting the production of gas-intensive units like stalkers, sentries, and immortals.
honor guides
You have a good number of probes, so your economy is strong. Your supply cap is also high enough to allow for more unit production. Therefore, the best strategy would be to focus on building more zealots, which are mineral intensive and do not require Vespene gas, than to continue expanding your economy by building more nexuses and assimilators to increase your Vespene gas income. Strategy: defend your base. You have a strong economy with a large amount of minerals and a decent amount of Vespene gas. You have a good number of offensive units, particularly stalkers and immortals, and a solid infrastructure with multiple nexuses and gateways. However, your supply cap is nearing its limit. Your best strategy would be to focus on expanding your supply cap by building more pylons, while also bolstering your offensive capabilities by building more stalkers and immortals. Additionally, considering the amount of minerals you have, it would be beneficial to build more nexuses to increase your resource gathering rate.
Mineral field depleted.
Our cannon shall sing. I return to serve.
Strategy: attack the enemy base. You have a strong economy with a good amount of resources and a solid army composition. However, your supply is nearing its cap, and you have a significant amount of minerals and Vespene gas. You should focus on expanding your army and improving your tech. Building more immortals would be beneficial due to their effectiveness against Zerg units. Also, consider adding more air units like Phoenixes or Void Rays from your Stargate. Lastly, building another robotics facility would allow you to produce more units simultaneously. Strategy: attack the enemy base. It would be beneficial to focus on building more offensive units to strengthen your army. You have a good number of probes and a healthy amount of resources, so you can afford to invest in more combat units. Building more stalkers and immortals would be a good choice as they are strong against Zerg units. Also, consider building another Stargate to increase your air unit production. Lastly, keep an eye on your supply cap and build more pylons if necessary. Strategy: attack the enemy base. It would be wise to focus on building more offensive units to strengthen your army. You have a good number of probes and a healthy amount of resources, so you can afford to invest in more combat units. Building more stalkers and immortals would be beneficial as they are strong against Zerg units. Additionally, considering the amount of Vespene gas you have, you could also invest in more Void Rays. Lastly, you should consider building another Stargate to increase your air unit production capacity. Strategy: attack the enemy base. It is advisable to focus on building offensive units to strengthen your army. You have a significant number of immortals, which are powerful against armored units, and a decent number of stalkers and zealots. However, your air force is weak with only one Void Ray. Therefore, it would be beneficial to invest in more air units, specifically Phoenixes and Void Rays, to balance your army. Additionally, considering your supply cap, it would be wise to build more pylons to increase your supply limit. Strategy: defend your base. It would be wise to focus on building more offensive units to strengthen your defense. You have a good number of resources and supply left, so you can afford to build more units. Your immortals are your strongest unit, so focus on building more of them. Also, consider building more stalkers and Void Rays for a balanced defense. Avoid building more structures for now as you have a sufficient number.
Prismatic core online. I return to serve.
Intrigue.
The enemy closes.
Strategy: attack the enemy base. You are at maximum supply cap with a strong army composition, particularly with 19 immortals and 6 Void Rays.
By your
However, you have a low count of zealots and sentries which are crucial for ground defense and force field utility. Your resource count is also relatively low, which limits the number of units or structures you can build. Therefore, the best strategy would be to focus on attacking the enemy base with your current army while using your resources to build more zealots and sentries for defense and utility. Strategy: attack the enemy base. You are at maximum supply cap with a strong army composition and a healthy economy. Your army is heavily composed of stalkers and immortals, with some air support from void rays and phoenixes. You have a significant amount of resources, but no supply left to build additional units. Therefore, your best strategy would be to launch an attack on the enemy base with your current army, while using your resources to replace any lost units during the attack. Strategy: attack the enemy base. You have reached the maximum supply cap and have a substantial amount of resources. You have a strong army composition with a high count of stalkers, void rays, and immortals. However, you have a low count of zealots and sentries which are crucial for ground defense and force field abilities respectively. You also have a good number of nexuses and probes for resource gathering. Therefore, the best strategy would be to focus on attacking the enemy base while maintaining a strong defense at your base. Strategy: defend your base. You have a strong economy with 9 nexus and a full supply cap. You have a significant number of stalkers and immortals which are strong against Zag units. However, you have a low number of air units. Considering your resources, it would be beneficial to increase your air power by building more void rays and phoenixes. Also, since your supply cap is already full, there's no need to build more pylons or probes.
Calibrating void. Arashar.
Very well. We move unseen.
Strategy: defend your base. You are at maximum supply cap with a strong army and a healthy amount of resources. Your army is heavily composed of stalkers, immortals, and void rays which are strong against Zag units. You have a significant number of nexuses and probes, indicating a strong economy. However, you lack air superiority units like phoenixes and oracles.
Intriguing. Veraku. Very wise.
By your will, honor guides me. For Artanis, Gassar,
Mineral field depleted.
Mentaro Tassadar, Ula Sadari. By your will.
Strategy: attack the enemy base. You have a strong economy with a high number of nexuses and a full supply cap.
Sadari,
You have a balanced army with a good number of stalkers, immortals, and void rays.
Gassar,
However, you have no supply left to build additional units. Your best strategy would be to focus on attacking the enemy base with your existing army while using your resources to replace any lost units during the attack. Strategy: defend your base. You have a strong economy with a large amount of resources and a full supply cap. Your army is heavily composed of stalkers, immortals, and void rays which are strong against Zag units. However, you lack air superiority as you have no phoenixes or oracles. You also have a large number of nexuses which can be used for quick reinforcements. Therefore, the best strategy would be to defend your base while building up your air units and then launch a counterattack.
Intriguing. Very wise. Mineral field depleted. For the reckoning. Very well. Veraku. I serve. For now. We move unseen.
Strategy: attack the enemy base. You have a strong economy with a large number of nexuses and a full supply cap. You have a balanced army with a good number of stalkers, immortals, and void rays. However, you have a surplus of resources, especially minerals. Therefore, the best strategy would be to focus on building more offensive units, particularly those that cost more minerals, to utilize your resources effectively and strengthen your army. Strategy: attack the enemy base. You have a strong economy with a large amount of resources and a full supply cap. You have a balanced mix of ground and air units, with a significant number of immortals and void rays. Your structures are also well developed, with multiple nexuses and stargates. Therefore, the best strategy would be to focus on attacking the enemy base, utilizing your strong army. You should also consider building more offensive units, particularly void rays and immortals, to strengthen your attack force. Strategy: attack the enemy base. You are at maximum supply cap with a significant amount of resources and a strong army composition. Your army is heavily focused on air and ground mechanical units, with a large number of immortals and void rays. You have a strong economy with 9 nexus and a good number of probes. However, you lack diversity in your army, with no adepts, phoenixes, or oracles. Strategy: attack the enemy base. You have a significant amount of resources and a strong army composition with a focus on air and robotics units.